Mr. Chen. So this proposal is to turn the two supernumerary posts in the FSTB into permanent posts. Actually, there have been 5 extensions since the creation of a supernumerary post, and now they have decided that these posts created in 2007 will be needed on a permanent basis. As I used to ask Mr. Andrew Wong, the previous permanent secretary, why you always create supernumerary posts for such duties. It seems that the FSTB is giving way to other departments and bureaus when it comes to creation of permanent posts, and they can only get supernumerary posts. This is, of course, not a healthy move. Of course, I supported the creation of the posts. For example, we need to develop fintech, regulate the money lenders, and financial reporting, regulation, etc. So I have a question about fintech. We have issued 6 virtual banking licenses and 2 virtual insurance licenses. So on the one hand, we have Hong Kong MA doing the regulate, and on the other, we have the Hong Kong Insurance Authority to regulate the licensee. But what about this directorate post in the FSTB? In terms of virtual banking and virtual insurance, what will be the duties to be carried out by the proposed deputy secretary? Of course, there will be a need for the post before the licenses were granted. But what about now? Now that the licenses have been granted, and also in respect of fintech, what is the division of labor between the ITC and the bureau, and especially the role to be played by the proposed post holder? Thank you, Mr. Chan Ying, for your questions. Both questions are related to fintech. As Mr. Chan has rightly pointed out, last year Hong Kong MA and Hong Kong IA issued 8 and 2 the relevant licenses respectively. On a policy level, on the high level, the policy level, we may need to consider providing legislative support. Although the licenses have been granted, it's not the end of the matter. We understand the Hong Kong MA and Hong Kong IA will continue to invite interested parties to join the trade. That is to say, more licenses will be granted in due course. When should such licenses be granted? We would maintain very close liaison with the Hong Kong IA. For example, if we want to develop the industry, we would like to issue more licenses. But from a policy angle, we have to consider the implication for the traditional licensees if more licenses are granted. So all these are policy matters to be considered at a high government level. So apart from virtual banking and virtual insurance, we're working on other related fronts as well. I know that this panel is very interested in fintech. So annually, we would provide detailed information in the form of paper for the panel. And this year it will be no exception. We are going to present a paper to this panel in the second quarter this year to facilitate a very detailed exchange of views with members. The second question of Mr. Chan is the division of the IT Bureau and the FSTB. The IT Bureau commands a very wide portfolio in respect of innovation and technology. But for fintech, I believe FSTB will be in a better position to do the promotion. That's why we want to create these 2 permanent posts, and we would like to be responsible for fintech. And I would say that there will be division of labor between my bureau and the IT bureau, but at the same time, there will be very good collaboration between